Coming to you from the Oddball Podcast Studios in New York City. My name is Vin Forte, and you're listening to Oddball with Vin Forte. Y'all follow the show on social media on X/Twitter at Oddball Podcast. Follow the personal account at Mighty Vin. Follow me over on Instagram at Vin Forte NYC. If you're only listening to the pod, go watch the pod as well. YouTube.com /at Oddball Podcast. I've been putting up full segments lately, really ramping up the clips, as it were. So if you want to support the pod, that's really the number one way to do it. YouTube.com /at Oddball Podcast. Got a lot to talk about today, a lot to do. But I did not come alone. I said I had a guest coming this week, and look, I don't lie most of the time. I got the guest right here. Here he is from the Yerrr Sports Show, Mr. Big Baby Dre, or Big Baby. Am I allowed to say that? Is that like,
yes,
I shouldn't? Okay.
Listen, you can say it. Everybody says it when they see me. If they listen to the show, they see me outside. I hear it. They don't even say the name regular.
But yeah, for people who don't know, tell a little bit about the Yerrr Sports Show.
So, the Yerrr Sports Show. First of all, again, my name is Big Baby of the Yerrr Sports Show. I am the producer, editor, one of the creators and founders of the show. Myself, along with BK Matt, Queen Tay, and Pete Rosado. We're a bi-weekly podcast where we go through everything in sports, everything in pop culture. It's like Breakfast Club and First Take had a baby.
You flipping houses now?
Maybe we can start. We can have some seminars going, and you know, we'll make sure we do it and we don't get in trouble. We'll make sure we do it the legal way. And if people lose money, I don't know.
You're not going to do a bunch of videos where you're explicitly saying no, you will get money off of this?
Oh, no, absolutely. That's the best way to do it. That's how you get people to buy in. We're going to have to tell people, hey, yeah, you're going to get some money off it. I guarantee it.
Oh, well, that's fantastic as my camera cuts out. But it doesn't matter if my camera's on or not because we got images because you're watching on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And that brings us to the first topic here.
Jesus Christ. Oh, this is great.
This man, Mr. James Harden, getting his way once again. This is the fourth team now that he has finagled his way either out of or onto. Mm-hmm. He's now on the Clippers, made his way out of the dastardly clutches of Daryl Morey.
Oh, man.
According to him. In his first press conference, he's come out and said he is... What is it? I'm not part of a system. I am the system.
Yeah, I
don't quite know what that means.
I'm not a system player. I am a system.
What does that exactly mean? Because like when you're at the position he is in his career, mm-hmm. I get that he's still an all-star, but like he's not running the whole thing anymore. Like so, he's got to know that.
I guess what he's saying is that his style of play, and he explained it, but my point of view is his style of play is actually the best way, and it doesn't revolve around an entire system of players to make it work. All you need is him, and that's pretty much how it's going to work.
But that's not true.
No, it's clearly not true. It's
true at all.
It's terrible. It's terrible that he thinks that. And some people are like, yeah, he has success. No, he hasn't. He's a scoring champ. Cool. He's led the league in assists. Cool. He has a lot of scoring records. Cool. But when May and June, end of April and May come around, he's not making it to June. But then the May and April come around and he's just like, he forgets how to play.
Not even that. Like, you can't have him and Russ on the floor at the same time.
No, absolutely. And if I'm Russell Westbrook, I'm pissed off because this is the second time you kind of bugged me out. It's kind of like you made my life worse. It's the whole Houston thing, getting him sent to Washington, right? Not getting him sent. Russ wanted to leave, so Russ ended up in Washington. And then now here on the Clippers, Russell Westbrook has been invigorated. He's been the best version of the current Russell Westbrook that we can ask for the Clippers. They play his style. They're a faster team, and they play a faster pace. And now James Harden comes in.
He's going to slow the whole train down again.
Yes. He's the damsel tied up to the tracks right now. That's how fast they're going to be moving. And for James Harden to want to be, I am the system or I am a system, you have to look at the Clippers team in totality and look at what they have. They do not have pick and roll threats on that team. That's James Harden's style of play. Pick and roll, ISO, step back, 1, 2, 3, 4, shoot a three, get to the rack. That team is not built for that.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, you could, if you acquire a guy with those skill sets like a James Harden, that's an asset because you don't have it. But because it's James Harden specifically, the amount of dominance he's going to want with the ball is going to dictate, I would assume that, again, like, you're going to take touches away from Westbrook. You're going to probably take touches away from, role players that are going to need to get worked out throughout the season to support guys like Paul George and Kawhi, who they themselves are unreliable in how healthy or unhealthy they can be throughout the season.
Yeah, they can't stay healthy. Kawhi Leonard, and it's a mix of the player and the teams. A lot of teams, as we found out this summer, are the ones that are actually sitting a lot of these players when some of the players want to play. And then this load management thing has been more of a hamper to the league than helping, because when players were playing 82, anywhere between 70 and 82 games, their bodies would hold up. Also, there's no more practice anymore, barely any practice anymore. So now players like Kawhi get hurt every 2 weeks. FMLA. Like, come on.
Well, that's, I think, what they're trying to, and maybe this is a whole other topic, but we'll get into it, is that I was talking to someone the other day about how under Adam Silver, and again, maybe this is the topic for a whole other day, but we'll touch on it a little bit now. When you look at Adam Silver's 10 years as commissioner, I think you're going to see that it started out with, big air quotes, the best possible scenario for him, which was the Donald Sterling thing, which was a bad situation. Yeah. But for him as a commissioner, it was a layup. Like, for him to be able to come in and lay down the hammer and be on the player's side, like, that was ostensibly a good spot for him to be in.
Agreed.
Then we saw that, okay, maybe he's a little too hands-off. Like, he wants to be on the player's side. Great. As fans, I think we want to side with the players more than the owners anyway. But now you see what's happening where in a lot of these situations of load management, you hear people immediately going like, man, this shit wouldn't be happening if David Stern was still around. And like, I got to admit, like, the stuff with Kyrie on the Nets last season, when people were wondering like, oh, is Adam Silver going to step in and say something? And I get it. You want to wait until all the facts are out and then make a statement. But it's like David Stern wouldn't have done that. He would have cut the whole thing off right at the start, called Kyrie into his office and been like, what are you doing? Yeah, and now
jump right in.
But now I say all of that to say that we're seeing a change this season, because I think late last year they brought in Joe Dumars to help. And Joe Dumars is the one that came up with the whole, the load management restrictions this season.
Yep.
And, rolling back the All-Star game to the previous format. Like, he wants to get the NBA back to being fan-centric, back to basketball, back to basics.
Absolutely.
And I think he's making a lot of small changes now that are really going to help the league long-term. And what you mentioned with guys like Kawhi and Paul George being out, I think you're going to see less of that. You're already seeing less of it. It's only been like 5-6 games in, but people were, the Clippers-Lakers game last night. You didn't have to work. Like, everyone played. Everyone who was available played. And I don't think you would have seen that, like, if it was any other year.
Yeah. And the crazy part is LeBron is one of the players that has kind of like a pass to do if he really wants to sit. Like, LeBron's amount of games and his age have him, excluded from a lot of the, the new rules in terms of sitting your players. LeBron is like 70 in NBA years compared to everybody else, and he's still out there playing 35 minutes a game.
Well, I mean, that speaks to the fact that Anthony Edwards is not he has not taken the LeBron baton yet. Like, we're still waiting on him to make it his team, and I just don't think that's going to happen at this point.
I'm not waiting for it, because it's not going to happen.
No. Anthony Davis, not Anthony. I don't know why I said Anthony Edwards. But, yeah, so rolling it back to the whole James Harden thing, he finagles his way off a team again. Like, tying that in with, okay, new rules, things that they're trying to do to make the league better. How do you stop this man? How do you stop another James Harden situation from happening where he just there's a guy, he's a superstar, can command a lot of money, any team would want him, and he can just go from team to team to team, blowing it up behind him?
You can't, because teams, the team is split. The league is split. It is a players' league now, but some of these owners act like, oh, no, we don't want it to be that way. But some of these owners are feeding into it by throwing all their assets away to get said star player to pair with 2 other star players, or however many other star players they have. And it's a hard thing to stop, because it's not like they're doing illegal trades or under the table trades. It is the money matches. I can get players out the free agency to kind of fill out my team. I really just need this superstar, and everything's going to be okay. And really, that formula really hasn't worked.
No, and I guess we're kind of seeing it at least tightening up, where, okay, it took a while for him to get to the Clippers, and they were kind of the only team he had available to him, even if he did want to go to them. Even with Damian Lillard, like, okay, he wants to go to the Heat. Yeah, he ended up going to the Bucks, and the Bucks, really great place for him to be.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't like he had this whole pick of the litter that he wanted to go to. So I don't, the window may be shrinking on what guys like James Harden can do. So we'll see what happens with that. But as we move on and continue with the NBA, we had a big heist this week. I don't know if you saw the promo with Michael Imperioli. They're really trying to sell this tournament. And you know what? Like, I said it from the start.
Like hell.
I said it from the start. Like, people, it's almost like when talking about wrestling, like, the audience doesn't know what they want until they've got it, or until they look back on it. With this in-season tournament, everyone's been dumping on it and shitting on this tournament. And it's like, you haven't seen it yet. One, you haven't seen it yet. Two, there's only going to be one actual game that's not tied into the regular season. So if you can take regular season games and spice them up a little by, like, look, they're going to have, like, new courts. I think they're going to be exclusively wear the city uniforms, which we'll get into that in a moment.
Yeah.
But like, if you can spice it up a little, like why not? Like, go for it. You got TV rights deals up.
Yeah. This was the same way people reacted to the play-in tournament.
And everyone loves the play-in.
And now everyone loves the play-in tournament. We had my team last season just get to the finals off the play-in tournament. So it's another one of those wait and see things, and people have to see it play out. But this also goes hand in hand with the new rule about sitting players. So now you're not going to want to sit your players if you want to take these games seriously, as I think you should, because now it's incentive. It's not only incentive for you, but it's everybody on the team. It is both stars and role players. And I know these role players who are not getting as paid as much as the star players want that $1 million at the end. That's their money. It's not charity money. That's going into their pockets. These coaches want the extra $500,000 they're about to get. These players who are legacy players, like a Steph Curry, like a KD, like a LeBron, They, what if one of them was like, yeah, I won the first ever preseason in season tournament game, along with my NBA championships, my MVPs, my final MVPs. So I think all in all, it's good for the NBA because it adds a level of competition, and makes the regular season games mean something more. Now there are going to be teams. I'm for sure know they're going to be teams like the Denver Nuggets, like the Boston Celtics, who are favored to be in the finals. Both teams,
they're going to look right beyond this.
Yeah, they're going to be like, whatever. But they're going to play hard. They're going to play hard, and they're consistent teams. So if they both make it at the end of the in-season tournament, it could be a preview of the finals.
Well, that was my point when they first announced this, that like you can poo-poo it right now, but if it comes to December 12th or whatever, and the final of this tournament is Lakers-Celtics, you're not watching that one extra game? Like, come on, get out of here.
Right. And it's only one game. It's not like, oh, well, we'll catch the next one. No, this is one game that doesn't count on the schedule, and it is for an actual title. It's a legacy builder. And I feel like as much as people are poo-pooing on it, you have to let it see how it plays out. Got to see how it plays out. If it doesn't work, okay, don't do it no more. But it's not like they're adding anything but one extra game to a year, and that's only for two teams.
Well, now that I think the dust has settled and they've made that a little more clear, I think a lot more people are on board with it. I think at the start, when they did that like promo of Richard Jefferson trying to explain the whole thing, I saw people all over Twitter that didn't understand it, couldn't follow it for some reason. I thought it was pretty simple to follow, but apparently not, because there were people like, wait, so on Tuesdays and Thursdays they're gonna do these exclusive No, the games count towards the regular season. Like, okay, but where are the exclusive games? Like, no, there's just one exclusive game.
Right, it's just a little razzle dazzle to them, right? That's it. Like,
yeah, and they're like, well, what if you make it to the knockout round and then you get knocked out? Like, do you play extra game? Yeah, they play. The losing teams will still play an extra game later that week to make up for it on the schedule. But I can't follow it. You'll follow it. Trust me, you will follow it. Like, it's not. Like you said, it's not the end of the world.
Nobody following all 82 games of all 30 teams anyway, so I don't know why people are complaining about it.
Right, exactly the reason they're doing this is because not enough people are following it during football season to begin with. So it's like, here's just a little extra something. But speaking of a little extra something, they gotta. I see what they're doing with these city jerseys, and sometimes they knock it out of the park. This ain't one of those years. I know Nike has the rights to them right now. They gotta get rid of Nike if this is what Nike's pumping out.
Some of these are nice. I like which one was it? Of course, I like the Miami Heat one. The Lakers one seems like something I saw before.
That's the thing. Like, some of them just feel like okay, this is okay. Like, it's nothing blowing me away.
The Knicks one is just a copy of the old Knicks jerseys from the early 2000s.
It just looks like a Knicks jersey. The Wizards one looks good.
Yeah, the Wizards one looks pretty good. The Warriors one looks the same. It's just that their letters are now crooked. The Denver Nuggets one, again, looks like their jersey is just with 5280 on it.
My favorite is the Heat Culture one, because my friend Martenzi Johnson works at Anscape, did a whole article on it where he interviewed someone in the Heat organization. Yeah. And he asked him about, like, well, it says Heat Culture. Heat Culture has been a thing for a while now. Yeah. And the person from the Heat goes, oh, well, that's not something that we go around actually talking about, like, on the inside. He's like, no, you only put it on your fucking city jersey this year.
Right, but they didn't have, they're riding along with it. Like I said, I've been a Miami Heat fan for a little bit, and I haven't heard Heat culture from Miami people unless people are talking about it, or they're asked about it. No one's like running around Heat culture. Yeah. Like, not that I know of. Maybe I'm tripping, but I didn't see that. I haven't seen that. But these jerseys, they're okay. That Clipper jersey is terrible.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's not because what was the one like 1 or 2 years? Maybe it was even last year. Like
Mm-hmm.
there was 1 year in the past like couple of years that like all of them were like, oh, this is great. Do more of these. And now they're kind of just reverting to like create a team.
Right.
Like the jerseys range from just being generic to okay to terrible, and then there's like a couple standouts. Like I still don't even know. I've seen the mock-up of this one for
Mm-hmm.
months now, but the next one still I don't know if it's good or not. Like I'm really baffled by it.
I'm a little confused on it. Like it looks okay, but then it doesn't at the same time. Like
Yeah, like
I'm just
bring back
not
the
sure.
Basquiat ones you did a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Where's one of
yeah.
those?
Bring the Coogee sweater ones. Like do that. The Orlando Magic one is alright. It's nothing here that's really I like the Kings one just for as a
It's
throwback.
a throwback.
Sense. The Utah Jazz one is one that pretty much stuck out because of the throwback look to it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that really is like, oh, I want to pick that up. Hey.
Oh, that's what they're hoping though. They're hoping you pick it up.
Yeah, they're not. Well, they won't be hoping for me. The Milwaukee one is cool. Yeah, it's.
But like the Knicks one again is a great example where it's like, okay, this just looks like a Knicks jersey.
Yeah, like I have that jersey someplace in my house. Like,
yeah, someone out there's got that jersey already.
Yeah. Now the ones that they like the city edition jerseys that they used to do, like the Knicks one that was like the fire department one, that was okay.
Or like the Miami Vice one.
Yeah, the Miami Vice one. Yeah, like they could have Miami Vice this one too, but heat culture was I'm just like, okay, I guess the Atlanta Hawks one could have been better. That Boston one is outrageously garbage too. Like Jesus, like I'm not a Celtics fan. I like their jerseys, but that one. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't have the picture for it, but they did release special courts for the in-season tournament.
Yeah, I saw,
and those look a lot better. Those look good.
Yeah, put those on the jersey. Put those colors on the jersey.
That was my first thought. Like when I saw those, I was like, make these the jersey. What are we fucking around these jerseys for?
Yeah, what are we doing? Like, and some of the color schemes just it doesn't match. Toronto, okay, I like the gold color, but it's not like it's just a gold Toronto Raptors jersey.
Yeah,
I can get that custom made my damn self. Like I can make that myself online.
That's what I'm saying. It feels very like create a wrestler. Like, oh, we're just gonna like, you want your logo to be gold in this game? Well, you could do that with our creative thing. It's like
I do this stuff in WWE 2K. Like I'll put my logo, I'll put my Yerrr Sports Show logo in it, just change the fucking color. Like that's it.
Yeah. So go out and buy those or not. But we got actual basketball news because Victor Wembanyama scored his 5th game ever in the NBA. Scored 38 points the other night against the Suns, which I believe he's off to the hottest start in a 5-game stretch for a rookie since Shaquille O'Neal. So I was listening to Brian Windhorst before talk about how LeBron had a similar game to Wemby. In his first season, but that was like 60 games into LeBron's first season.
Right.
And this is 5 games into Wembanyama. So I don't know. I still think it's way too soon to evaluate. Like you're seeing all these people gushing on TV. And look, rightfully so. Like he's amazing. He's putting on a show 5 games in. 38 points is amazing.
Yes.
But he already has the experience of being in the French leagues. But again, he's also only 19. So I kind of keep going back and forth on him. I just don't want to get the hype machine too hyped up just yet.
I agree. He is a special talent. He reminds me of a mix of he's a mix of Kevin Durant and young KG to me. Without the aggression, I'm just saying he has the heightened sense on defense like KG has had had all his career, and he could move around and score like KD. Once he's able to put it all together, he's gonna be a monster. But now we're only looking at him 5 games in. These teams are, for lack of a better word, are pretty much bullshit in their way. The first 5 games, nobody's playing hard, nobody's going crazy. Now with this in-season tournament and these games starting to mean something,
now you get to see him in a tournament.
Right. Let's see how aggressive they play him. Not to say that beating Kevin Durant twice in a matter of 7 days is not amazing. It is great because you had 18 one game against your Suns. You had 38 and took over at the end of the game that you had 38. Cool. I'm with that. I'm good with all of that. But you got to settle down a bit because he's not the be-all, end-all of the Spurs, to me. And it's not to downplay him. It's just,
well, the problem is he is the end all be all of the Spurs right now.
Yeah.
Like, who else is on the Spurs that, like, if he goes down, who's stepping up to take that? Like, nobody. And they've got a lot of the thing is they've got a lot of young talent, which is great. But it may not be great for this year. Like, I think that's where I think people need to temper their expectations. He's great. But we've seen, like we said, with LeBron, like we've had great rookies come into the league and dominate their rookie year.
Yep.
But dominating your rookie year in individual performance doesn't necessarily translate to team success. And look, I've heard people throw out there, like, could the Spurs make a deep run in the playoffs this year? I wouldn't bet on it.
Absolutely not.
If they did, it would be one of the most amazing things we've ever seen. But I wouldn't bet money on it. So I think, like, people need to halt the hype bus of Wembanyama. We've even seen this with, I've talked on this pod before about Giannis before he won his championship. Even a couple years before that, when he was still in his early 20s, people on TV being like, "Oh, the window's closing for Antetokounmpo." It's like, what are we talking about? Like you got to give these guys a couple of years. Like, they don't, every year is big when you're playing a sport like this and your health and conditioning matter. But, like, especially with Wembanyama, like I said, he's 19. Like, if we gave him 5 years, that would be a 5-year head start compared to someone else who could be coming in as a rookie as well.
Right. And this is a player who's, yes, he's played overseas and everything like that. And he's been molded overseas, but the overseas game is a little bit different than the NBA game. Not saying one is better, one is worse. What I am saying is that the pace is different. And the rookie wall is a thing for everybody, even the best players when they were rookies. So he is playing well, and the Spurs are playing well and deferring to him, making him the de facto star because he is a superstar at this point for them. But they got to let him grow. And that's the thing with big men in the league in general. Doesn't matter your skill point, you're still a big player, and these big men need time to develop. Not everybody's going to come in like Shaq and just tearing rims down. Shaq 3 years in, top 50 player all time. He wasn't a top 50 player all time, but they didn't have nobody else to put on the list, and then he proved himself to be a top 50 player, now top 75 player all time. So,
well, and also people forget, and much like Wembanyama, Shaq was very lean when he came into the league. It's hard to, like, for maybe younger people who may be listening, like, it's hard to remember. But you look up Shaq rookie, or his entire time on the Magic, for example, and he was like a gazelle running around. Like, he didn't have the bulk of later Shaq.
That was scary. Like, he was a gazelle. He had the speed of a gazelle, of a very large gazelle, with the power of a damn tank. Shaq was one in a million. And Paul Pierce said something recently, and I don't usually, Paul Pierce just be saying stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Nicknames shouldn't be the truth half the time. But
yeah, they got to get him off that ticket and the truth. They got to replace the truth on that show.
I actually like them sometimes. Sometimes Paul Pierce makes valid points, and then other times like.
Well, some more times than him making valid points, it's him just being off in his own fucking world.
That's like Rashad McCants on Guild Arena.
Oh man, that's a whole other conversation.
That's so bad. I'm looking. I was sometimes
you could say the most agreeable thing, like, "Hey, I woke up this morning and the sky was blue." And Rashad McCants just be like, "I don't know, man.
Right?
I think it's red." Like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? There's a window right here. It's blue. Like,
yeah, be like, blue. Yeah, but I played in the league for a little bit. I don't know. I think you guys are just going with the group think. It's like, yeah, God damn it, Rashad.
Yeah. But here's what Paul Pierce said, right? He said something along the lines, where comparing. Not completely comparing, but haven't seen someone this big with this much athleticism outside of Shaq since Wilt. And I thought about it. He's not completely wrong on it, but I don't see Wemby being the dominant force that Wilt was.
Well, again, I think it goes back to conditioning. Like, he's got to put on a little bit of muscle.
Mm-hmm.
We see him now. He's very lanky.
Mm-hmm.
He's very, he's mobile. It's not like he's just, lumbering around and he's too tall. Yeah. But, big guys fall hard. Like, his health is going to be a big concern going forward, and they know that.
He has to get his footwork together,
he's
too.
He's got to get his footwork together. And then, again, that stuff will come. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Again, if we gave him a 5-year start starting today, 5-year head start, and by the end of that 5 years, he would still be at the same place that a completely different rookie would be going into the NBA.
If we can
he's only 19.
If we can give Zion the patience after him being injured for the last 4 years, when we can be okay with Wemby and Wemby figuring it out.
Yeah, I don't think Wemby's going to fill up on beignets to, get to where.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Although he could
use them.
Go down on churros.
Yeah.
Did you see that the other night?
I saw it. And Wemby was like, "What?"
Charles tried to be like, "No, it's a churro. It's like a fried dough." He's just like, "Well, I don't." He's like taking his earpiece off. He's like, "I don't know. You guys deal with this. I don't know what's going on."
All right. Enough. Like.
The best team in sports.
Right.
Best broadcast team.
Yes. I love those guys.
I absolutely love them. But, we mentioned Shaquille O'Neal. And a lot of times I'll find some things from the past that I want to bring up on this pod. Okay. I save them for the end. It's a nice little cool down segment. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you're here for this one. Because this is one that I think people even around our age maybe don't even remember, because it's an event that was billed and then didn't end up happening. From 1995, involving Shaquille O'Neal. Do you have any idea what I'm about to pull up on you?
I'm thinking. I think I know, but
okay. What do you think it is?
I'm trying to. What was it? Was going on in 95 with Shaq.
Okay, well, we don't have all day, so I'm just gonna
just play it. I'm
just gonna show you is the Taco Bell 1-on-1 championship, Shaq versus Hakeem, supposed to have been September 30th, 1995. Earlier that year, the Rockets had beat the Magic in the finals, and this was a ploy by Shaq. He had put out, I forget if it was like the New York Times, like he put it in some magazine or newspaper, basically a letter saying like, hey, good job, you beat us, but I want revenge. I want you 1-on-1. And Taco Bell got behind it. As you can see on your screen, if you're watching on YouTube, they did an ad where him and Shaq and Olajuwon were riding around Central Park, and I don't know why they were dressed as 40s nerds with little pinwheel hats and carrying around Taco Bell bags. But that was the idea for Man, nothing gets me in the mood for a one-on-one pay-per-view fight like dressing two guys up as some fucking nerdlingers.
And Taco Bell.
Taco Bell with little bow ties and suspenders.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But the plan was, and this is all like it was going to be at the Donald Trump was involved. It was going to be at the Trump Taj Mahal. Like Shaq was flying in on Trump's plane, and like hours before it was supposed to, or like a day or two before it was supposed to begin, or go down. Apparently, Elijah Wan got sick or had some sort of injury, and I got to back out. The speculation, it's never been confirmed, but the rumor is that David Stern butted in and was like, no, you're not doing this unsanctioned basketball game for money on pay-per-view, which they were already advertising. If you go on YouTube, there's commercials out there for like, hey, you know, order the one-on-one championship, Shaq versus Hakeem. Like this was going to happen.
You gotta love David Stern. You gotta love David Stern. All about his damn bottom line. This would have been fun to see, but I don't think it would have been as fun for Hakeem as people probably would have thought. Yes, Hakeem tore Shaq up in the finals, but we've seen what a motivated Shaq is like, and Hakeem in his older years, 1-on-1, no teammates, no rest. I don't know how he would have fared against Shaq, but shout outs to David Stern again, you know, ruining somebody else's life out there. Rest in peace to David Stern, absolutely, probably one of the best commissioners ever in sports. But
not hesitant to be, if he doesn't like something, it's just, nope, we're pulling the plug right now.
We ain't doing that. We're not doing that.
Get at it. We're putting this on ice like that.
That Kobe trade. That trade.
Well, I was gonna say like the Ewing envelope, but
gotta love it. Gotta love it.
I gotta go watch this ad of them. I watched it before. It's wacky. Shaq did a lot of wacky ads in the 90s. Again, like if you want to have if you want to go down a fun YouTube wormhole and you're listening to this, just go on YouTube and look up Shaq like 90s commercials. Man, if you think this new version of Shaq today it will do anything, nah, this has been Shaq the whole time.
Yeah, Kazam.
Kazam, Steel. When he joined the Lakers, remember his press conference where he shouted, he was like, listen, man, I just want to have fun, drink Pepsi, eat Taco Bell. Like he was just shouting out his sponsors.
Shaq is one of the most like he doesn't get credit for keeping the league also afloat as well, because Shaq being everywhere kept eyes on the NBA. Shaq being a rapper, Shaq doing all these endorsements. Right. Even now, Shaq doing all these endorsements, people probably put money into these endorsements now because, oh wait, well, Shaq is doing it. The General is making a killing right now because of Shaq. like it was just Geico. It was a couple other insurance companies. The General just smooth right on in. Once they got Shaq, forget it.
No, yeah, and he's got a chicken place now. He's got like Shaq's Big Chicken. While also he's big in Papa John's. Like he's competing ostensibly against himself at this point.
Right. He's just doing stuff. And I'm all for it. Like,
oh yeah.
I'm all for it. Whatever way you feel like you can make more money, make more money. And you're not hurting anybody because he's also putting people on too. It's not like he's just doing it and he's keeping everything for himself. He's putting players, rappers, other actors, he's putting people on and putting family members on. Generational wealth is important, and Shaq is the prime example of that at this point.
Yeah, but going back to the Taco Bell one-on-one championship, would you have paid? I don't even know how much this friggin' thing would have cost. Let's say, how much would you? That's a better question. How much would you have paid? Because the format would have been. I know the format was 10 rounds. I don't know what that means. Like
10 rounds?
You score a point. and then that's one round. Like I don't quite understand what a whole round would have been one-on-one. But how much would you pay for 10 rounds of one-on-one? And do you do a pre-show? Like, do you have two other
Right. Do you have like Muggsy Bogues and like Rod Strickland
Spud
go
Webb?
one-on-one?
Like,
Yeah, Muggsy Bogues and Spud Webb go one-on-one or something like that. I want to fast forward it to like now. If this was now, Shaq and Keem Prime, I would pirate it. I would pirate it.
Nah, you just find the guy on Twitch who's streaming it.
I'd find the link. I have a site for stuff like that. so yeah, I probably wouldn't pay for it. It's cool. It's a cool idea in theory because they tried it with Dr. J and what's the name, and Kareem a long time ago when they played one-on-one. But after that, you didn't see too many one-on-ones.
No, maybe for good reason. But
yeah, that I'm not. How much would you have paid for that?
Again, I wouldn't have. I'm not really that interested.
I'd send you the link.
Yeah, again, I would ask you for the link. Like,
yeah.
You would have to really add some razzle dazzle to this. Again, maybe there's details out there I couldn't find them, but like, if it was just going to be a one-on-one tournament with no sort of accoutrement to it, I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could stand paying $20 for that. Nor do I care about watching Shaq and Hakeem one-on-one. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, you're not playing for a title.
Right, like if you win that, then that means you get Hakeem's ring or something like that.
Now that would have been so like Hakeem has to give me his ring,
or if Hakeem loses, the Rockets championship is null and void, and Orlando Magic are the champions.
Like, I get his powers Space Jam style. Like
right,
what?
I get his powers Space Jam now, and now Shaq is over here dream shaking and doing. 15-foot jump shots and stuff like that.
Wow.
Now Shaq and Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points. Like,
wow. I think that's where we're gonna end it.
For
today. But Baby Dre, your sports show. Where can people find you?
You can find myself at It's Big Baby on all social media platforms. You can find the Yerrr Sports Show at Yerrr Sports Show on all social media platforms, including TikTok. It would be _ at Yerrr Sports Show, since I probably used the Yerrr Sports Show tag before on my own personal page. But yeah, we're on everything. Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. We drop every other week, we drop every Monday audio, every other Monday audio format, and every other weekend we do it live. Next weekend we have a live show. That's episode 147. We're on the road to 150. 150th episode will be on December 22nd, live in studio. Been working real hard. The show's been going on for at that point would be 4 years. I have a great crew with me. Tay keeps us all in check, literally, as you see on this show.
Mm-hmm.
BK Matt, full of life. Pete added an element to the show when he was brought on board. The analyst part of it, and it all just gels together. Me trying to, rile in all three of them half the time.
Oh, absolutely, and I've been on before. I can't wait to. I would love to come back on.
Oh yeah, you definitely. Yeah. You're definitely coming back. Definitely come back on. Definitely for sure. Definitely for sure.
So go check it out. Yerrr Sports Show with 3 R's.
Yes.
And if you're gonna plug your stuff, it's my show. Might as well plug my.
Oh yeah, definitely plug your stuff. Yes.
Go first and foremost. If you like what you heard today, go leave a nice 5-star rating and review over on Apple or Spotify. Really, though, the best way to support the pod, again, putting more clips up on YouTube. Go, share those, leave comments, likes on those. YouTube.com / @Oddball Podcast. YouTube.com / @Oddball Podcast. But again, listen, Stitcher, not Stitcher. Stitcher doesn't exist anymore. I need to take it out of the crawl on the bottom. They went bankrupt over the summer. Don't go to Stitcher.
Don't. No.
Yeah, Spotify, Apple. You know where to get podcasts from. You're listening to one right now.
Right.
So I need to tell you where to get those from. Follow me on Twitter at Oddball Podcast, at Mighty Vin for the personal account. Over on Instagram at Vin Forte NYC. And with all of that said, see you back here, same time, same place. Next week, you've been listening to Oddball with Vin Forte. A big thanks to Big Baby Dre. We'll see you back here, same time, same place. Bye-bye.